Flosstube, my name is Mariam. My pronouns are she, her. You may know me as My Crafts on Instagram or My Designs on Etsy. Welcome to my Flosstube. This is a channel about crafting. I'm a crafter, multi-crafter, but mainly cross-stitcher and a cross-stitch designer. So welcome. If this is the first time you're stopping by, I hope that you enjoy what I have to share and you stay, so please hit the subscribe button and the notification, so whenever I upload, which is roughly once a month, you will be notified. If you are coming back, welcome back. Thank you, friends, for choosing again to watch my video. So I have a lot to cover this time. We have everything from some surprises, sort of like a stitchy kindness that is for me and you, some FFOs, finishes, a lot of finishes, a little bit of webs, and then a big plan for next year, and a lot of investments. So let's get it started. Okay, so let's get it started. I usually like to start my updates with what's happening in the community. This can be anything from any new events that's happening, any sales that's going on, sort of like a little bit of everything that's like I know about. And this time around, it includes a giveaway. So, Nori, that you may know from Shaded Stitchery, who is an amazing designer, she reached out to me, and I know that she has reached out to a few other Flosstubers as well, and she offered a pattern for free and also a pattern for you as a giveaway to celebrate her now the new adventure that she's stepping into, which is printing, right? So up to this point, she was offering all of her patterns digitally as a PDF in her shop. Now, this market, she participated in the market and offered her patterns as print for the first time. So she gave me an option to choose from all of her library of patterns, a pattern for you and a pattern for me. And I chose one of her new releases, array number 1. So that's what it looks like. It has both the monochrome and also the colored version. I like these kind of patterns because I find them to be very meditative, and like you can use this as like a mindful stitching project. So when you are very overwhelmed, you need to relax, you need a break, this kind of pattern will be a great pattern to stitch on because it's geometric, it's soothing on the mind, and when you get going, you really don't need to reference the pattern a lot, so you can actually get into the stitching and experience that relaxing effect of working on a project like this. So I have two. So one is for me, and I am offering the other one to one of you. So to enter this giveaway, please comment, and I'm gonna use a random comment picker. Please use the word array. So as this is spelled here, A-R-R-A-Y. So use array as the keyword. I'm gonna just use the random comment picker and pick someone. It can be anyone within US or international, as long as it's a place that I can send the package through USPS. So if it's accessible through USPS, it's good to go. So don't use the word, just let's put some ground rules here, just similar to I'm sure if you have ever entered any of the giveaways on YouTube, you have heard all the rules, but we're gonna repeat it again. Please be 18. Please don't use any keywords like giveaway, prizes, raffle, any of that, because that it attracts bots, and that's the last thing we want. make sure that you know that I'm not going to ask for your address right in the comment. I'm going to be announcing the winner on the community page in 3 weeks. So this will be open for 3 weeks. Okay, so in mid-October I will be announcing the winner of the pattern. Okay, mid-October, that's October 15th, I will be announcing the winner of the pattern on the community page, and then the person can email me with their information, and we go from there. Okay, so yeah, so that is what's happening in the community. The other thing that's happening in the community, you might have seen the thumbnail already. I released the pattern. I released the pattern for the sampler September. I know we're almost done with September, but I mean, they don't expire. You can still stitch them. So this is the pattern that I released, and it's one of my FFOs now. Am I holding it? No. There we go. That's how it is. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's like 190 by 190. You can technically hold it whichever way you like, but this is how it is displayed correctly. This is part of my Ct samplers. If you're not familiar with that collection, this will be the 3rd edition to that collection, and there will be 4 in that collection. So I'm almost done with that collection. I've been releasing once a year, one of these patterns a year, and so we're gonna have another one next year, and it will be done. So Ct sampler, these are very small rugs that were made in a very short period of time during 18th century Iran, and they worked as a sampler, either for those who were in the program to become master rug makers. So this was sort of like a final exam for them. They made these small rugs that included a lot of motifs, from the borders to the corner motifs and central motifs, and then they would be graded on their skill, and then they will graduate and become master rug makers. The other use for these kind of rugs were when someone was ordering rugs to be made, and these were not cheap rugs. It would take years sometimes for one of these projects to be done. So it was a big deal when someone was actually choosing the colors and the material and the design and all of that. So they would make these sampler, like a collection of, like, they smush all the borders and different corner motifs, and they were center motifs, and you know, with different color combinations, and they would just smoosh them all together in one small rug, and the person would just look at it and then choose which ones they preferred and what colorway they preferred, and then that would be the rug that would be made for them to order. And then afterward, these rugs were either thrown away because they were like they looked really odd, or they would be used and abused in houses of the workers. So the rug makers usually, or the designers, will actually use them until they would just fray and then they'd be gone. This is why we don't have a lot of them left. They're very rare now, and because of the odd patterns that they include usually and the odd look of them, they're highly valuable right now. It's very interesting to see, like, something that was once a throwaway now is a valuable collectible item. So I took that inspiration from that style of sampler rugs, and then I came up with my collection of samplers. So the first one, Turanj Sampler, which you can see here, is a collection of bands with a lot of botanical patterns. And then I have my BeStitchMe sampler right there, which is another border pattern with a motif, with a bat motif, which BeStitchMe means bat, in the corner. And this one had a lot of animalic, like motifs, so a lot of animals and critters were in that. And then the third one is this one. So this is a little different because this is a departure. We had 2 borders and now we are moving to center motifs. So center motifs in Persian rugs are called Turanj or citron. And this is a collection of center motifs of different shapes and sizes. You know, you have long ones, smaller ones, more angular ones, and more, you know, organic ones. So there are so many different like center motifs all in one. I model stitched it myself as well. And this is on 20 count Paranormal by BeStitchMe. And I used 12 weight Sulky in 1293, which is Deep Nassau Blue, I think Nassau Blue, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, so this is available now in my Etsy shop. Yeah, so this is the third Vogue Year sampler, and I'm gonna have one more next year, and then we are wrapping up the Vogue Year sampler collection. Yeah. Okay, I hope you like it. Alright, so this is a good segue now to a whole lot of FFOs that I have. And then, I mean whole lot, like I have a few FFOs, and then I have a lot of finishes that I'm going to talk about, and then one whip, and then we're going to talk about all the other things, extra ones. Okay, so the first FFO was absolutely the Turanj Sampler, but that was not the only thing that I finished. I FFO'd. I actually FFO'd, finally, I FFO'd one of my other models, which is the Child of the Rainbow. So this was a stitch on 22 count Aida using one strand of Cosmo. And it says Child of the Rainbow in Farsi in the center. It's a collection of borders. As you see, I'm obsessed with borders, so I'm just leaning into that. And as you see, it's in a classic. This was my Pride release. So it's in classic Pride flag colors. And the term Children of Rainbow is used to refer to LGBTQIA plus community in Iran. So in Farsi, they're called Children of Rainbow. So I use the singular term to own it, to basically claim it, and it says Child of the Rainbow in the center. All right. And the frame is from Amazon. The frame for Turanj was from Frame It Easy. So I am using the same frame but in different color for all of my Vogue Year samplers. So they're all from Frame It Easy. I just wanted to give them the uniform look. Okay, so next FFO, this is not a piece that I stitched actually. So I'm a part of the Embroidery Guild of America, and our chapter, Windy City, has a retreat. And last retreat that I went to was the first time I actually went to their our chapter's retreat. And one of the members passed away recently, and her partner, she brought a whole bunch of her finishes to the chapter, and basically the ask was for anyone who wanted to pick through this Sandy's finishes, pick up anything that they liked, with the promise that they will fully finish it and basically put it to use, because these were all projects that Sandy had worked on and finished, but they were not fully finished. So I'm not like I don't have to return it or anything. I'm holding on to it, but I'm fully finishing it. I'm probably going to take it to the next EGA's meeting just to show it off, as like let them know that I have fully finished it. And I framed it. So this was apparently a class or workshop she partook in, and it's like a whole bunch of specialty threads and techniques in one piece. It's not the best framing work. I did it myself, and at the bottom, if you notice, that's the frayed edge, is like a cut edge. She had her signature basically on the very edge of the fabric, so I cut that in a really ribbon form, and I put it at the bottom, so now her signature is on the piece as well. So yeah, I framed it in this long sort of gray wash frame, and I'm happy with it. It's not perfect by any means. If you look closely, there are some creases, and I know there's a way to make it look better, but I actually like it this way. And this piece is stained. If you look closer, some pieces of some spots on it is a little stingy, and I intentionally didn't wash it. I wanted to preserve the way it came to me as much as possible, so I just framed it this way. So it looks like you know, an old project that you find in your grandma's house, finished years ago, and now, you know, it has aged. So yeah, I like this. So I'm gonna put it up somewhere in the back with all the other projects that I have now. Alright, so yeah, this is Sandy's work. Now it's all fully finished. Next is a, you know, it's in a process. It's not completely fully finished project, but I want to show it to you now because I'm not going to have it with me by the time I record again. So this is a gift. It's going to go away in trouble. So this is a project that I actually was one of the first projects, first counted cross stitch projects that I did. It's on 11 count Aida. I don't think I ever shown this, not even in on Instagram. So this is how she looks. It's a mermaid and two fishies. Is her back is to us, and she has this amazing hair, and you can see her tail and her bare back. So my youngest nibbling, so my cousin reached out to me and asked for something that I have made myself for her daughter's room, just so she can, you know, have something from me for her in the room, and also, you know, for her to remember me by as well. So I thought of this, and I'm like, this is perfect for a little girl's room. And this has a story too. So this is 11 count Aida is opalescent, and I stitched it with pearl cotton, DMC pearl cotton. So what is like like desirable about using DMC over a lot of over dyes is the fact that they're usually color fast, right? So you don't have to worry about it, and you stitch it and you can wash it and no problem. So this was one of the first projects that I did. So of course, by the time I was done, which actually didn't take me that long, a few months, by the time I was monogamous stitcher at the time, by the time I was done, it was dingy, so I wanted to wash it. As soon as I dunked this in water and I used cold water, it bled. It could have, like, if you've seen me then, I was like on the verge of tears. I was so upset. Like, I was losing my mind. Like, after months of working on a project, and it's like a big project like this, to have it be ruined like that. So on this side, on the back, was all like purpley, coming out. Around the tail, it was a disaster, and I didn't know what I'd done wrong. So I went to a Facebook page. I don't remember which one it was, but I asked people, like, what should I do? I'm freaking out. So someone said, don't worry about it, don't freak out, just buy those, shout out the color catcher sheets, soak this in cold water with color catcher, and just change the water, and do not give up. Like, every few hours, check it, change the sheet, change the water, and go on until all of that color is out. So it took me, I think, 2 or 3 days, if I'm not mistaken. It took it like that long before it was all, like, the water was clear and there was no stain left on the project. But I was so sad for those 3 days. I was losing my mind. I was so nervous that this is ruined forever. And then afterward, what I did was from the get-go, I knew that I wanted to hang it like a tapestry kind of finish. So I added like the bias tape, and I hand stitched it all around with the bias tape, so it's not gonna fray. And now I am going to finish it using these magnetic bars. It's too heavy for this alone to hold it up, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually I have those stapler guns, so I'm gonna staple the edge, a very edge, to this side, and then use this basically just for the look on top. So it will be held by the staples that will be on it, and then I use this one at the bottom as well. So this is my mom is hopefully traveling back home soon, and she's gonna take this with her as soon as I'm done with this, and that will be it. So this is it. And in case you're wondering, this is the back. And I didn't stitch, by the way, this is all 10 stitch. These are not full stitches, because I made a mistake and bought, instead of size 8 per cotton, I actually bought size 5. I didn't know there was a difference, so I could not stitch full stitches with it on 11 count. It was so bulky, so I did 10 stitch instead, and it worked perfectly well. You're not gonna tell that this is 10 stitch. So yeah, so my Little Mermaid will be fully finished and then sent away. Those are all of my fully finishes. I do have some finishes as well. First, I think I shared this last time. I just started this and I shared that with you. This is Frog. So for the month of August, We were doing hashtag #ModAboutYou to celebrate ModCross Sarah and her design. So I stitched this frog. It's her design. It's let's see, what's the fabric? The fabric is fiber, 18 count fiber on a whim, and in night sky, and I'm using Sulky 12 weight. I'll get different ones for the frog. I really enjoy this a lot. I'm gonna make a project bag out of this. I feel like it's fitting. It says frog, stay away, no rip for me today. And it's ironic because when I started stitching this, the first frog, I had to frog it 3 times. So, yeah. Now, afterward, I did my round robin projects. I had 2. Because I was away for a whole month, so I had a couple of them arrived at my house, and I had to, like, when I came back, I had to work on them. So I finally got a chance to work on them. So I worked on, I'm gonna insert a photo here. So I worked on Elegant Squid. This was Tara's project. And it was on 32 count linen in Mystic Fabrics in Aurora, and using 2 different kind of over dye threads. One was a Live and Dye LA in pink Pretty Flamingo, and this was a limited edition, so you're not going to be able to find it, and it's amazing hot pink, and it's a wonderful color. And then the other one was Forbidden Farm & Co. in River of Life. So that was such a joy to stitch. It was really quick to finish. I really enjoyed it. The next round robin project that I was stitched on was Julie in a Stitches 16. It looks like this, and I had the privilege of finishing the complete project. So I was the last person who stitched on it. So she is the first person from our group who has their project finished completely. And it is Green Damsel. It was stitched on Picture This Plus 36 count linen in Regency. So I used 1 strand, it was 1 strand over 2, and I used 2 Night Stalkers Calling in Blood Moon and Evergreen, and then MoSaleSilk in Charcoal. So, and that's a kind of beautiful pattern, and I'm really happy to have been able to stitch on 3 different amazing patterns that I wouldn't have if I wanted to just finish one ink circle pattern of my own. So it was a great group. Everyone is very chill. No one is pressuring anyone else. However, we were all being very on top of our projects, and we're actually finishing up our projects relatively early. Like, we still have a few months until the end of year, but like a lot of us are coming to an end. This is the last like a round of like the last time the patterns will travel between us. And I already sent out my those 2 patterns, and I'm done with my stitching part for this round. And what I'm gonna do is, I already suggested, and everyone has agreed, that we're gonna do it another round, because it was so much fun, and I loved every single choices that my group made, and they chose very great patterns with so much fun color combinations. So it was so great. So I definitely want to do it again. Okay, so that was that. And then afterward, I stitched on a Stitch for Pride. So that is a design by these 20 stitches, and this design was available for a short period of time. It closed up first in December, by the end of December last year, and then it became available for a short period of time again in month of June, and now it went away, so it's not available. If you look at it and you're seeing all the updates from people and you don't have it, I don't want to, sorry, you're not gonna have it. At some point, D has said that he probably gonna release these patterns separately, possibly. I don't know. That's not even a promise. At some point in future, but for now, they're not available. And he's working on, keep an eye out and sign up for the newsletter. He's working on next year, and already it has been mentioned that it's going to be amazing. And if this year is any indication, I'm sure it will be amazing. So I was behind on that project by a month because I was working on my model. So I caught up for 2 months. Basically, I stitched 2 months. I had 2 finishes. Let me show you. And this is on 36 count, called for linen in determination, hand dyed by Jessie from Mislaid Pages. And threads are hand dyed by Jasmine, Knitting Nurse Jasmine, and they're all limited edition, so they're not available. Okay, so what did I stitch on? So this pattern, I don't know how visible it is. If you can see, it's a hand and there's a heart there. So this is Hangama Amiri, which is Afghani Afghan Canadian artist who has a lot of amazing work. She has a lot of like applique, quilting kind of pieces with bright colors. She features hand a lot in her work. And then this one was these little triangles. This one was for September, so I'm caught up now. This one was September's pattern, and it was for Lahua Wakea, who is they're a Hawaiian native artist, and again, they work with a lot of like ancient motifs and like traditional motifs, and there's a lot of geometry in their work, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed looking into their work and what they used. October is going here, so Dee has been like sharing some sneak peeks, and I think it's going like right here. So we're still gonna have afterward this one will still be empty. I wonder which month would that cover. Anywho, so this is only 3 months left. I can't believe it. This year has flown by, and I'm so happy that I have been able to stay caught up with this project. So the size of these like releases were just enough, like just big enough that it would be really, it was really easy, has been really easy so far to catch up with the drops. So yeah. Next, I finished my Quaker Crow from Work Basket that I'm collecting Work Basket patterns, and this was one of the patterns that I really looked for and was able to finally find, and really enjoyed stitching it. This is 18 count printed Aida. That's the back. Printed Aida from Ct Stitchery in autumn. It's from the autumn collection, and then the thread is one strand of thread works in Lava Cake, right? Lava Rock, which is this black purple kind of situation. And this was my EGA project, so every time I went to EGA I would stitch a little bit on it, and then the day of and the day after I would just continue stitching on it, and then I would put it aside. But this time around, I was so close to finish it, I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna put this back, I'm gonna just stitch it until it's done. So I did that, and now I have a finish. I love it. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it yet, but you know, for now it's gonna live in the box of finishes until I figure out what I want to do with it. But yeah, here it is. So that is it in terms of all the finishes. Next is whips. So I only worked on one whip, which was One Dozen Quaker by Rosewood Manor. This is, I'm participating in a sale, which is Bake Me a Dozen sale, that EJ from Sunshine Stitchers has started. And she divided the pattern into 12 sections, and we had 30 months to finish it, and it's the time, like, it's the whole sale ends at the end of this year, but the hope is for me to finish this before that. I'm not stitching these colors, so let me show you. I am stitching this on 16 count Aida in red tail, hand dyed by Mislaid Pages, and I'm using SanJo Silk, which is technically yarn, so it's a thicker silk, but it works really well. Like, it gives fantastic coverage on 16 count. I think it will even work on 18 count, but it will be a snug. But with 16 count, it's pretty comfortable. I loved, this is the color is Moth. Yeah, it's Moth. It's a moss green, basically. And what I enjoy it is the peekaboo it plays, because the color of the silk, it matches some part of the fabric, so it just blends in, and I'm enjoying that actually pretty much. So I'm more than halfway done with the project. This is all that is left at the bottom, so I'm hoping to be able to finish it. This is actually a quick stitch, so I'm hoping to be able to finish it in the month of October. So that will be one of the projects that I'm going to be focusing on after I finish all the commitments and I, do all the other things that I need to do. I'm going to be focusing on finishing as many projects that I can, and the first one on the list is actually this. That's all the whips. So let's talk about plans. So I have one plan to share with you, which is a big plan, and it's a project that it's a stitch along that I will be starting and working on throughout the year of 2025. In 2025, at the beginning of the year, because my birthday is January 4th, I turn 40. I can't believe it, but it is happening. But I feel like it's like I need to celebrate this date, right? So we came up with, Julie is hitting a big number, like an important number as well. And we said, since both of us are, we want to celebrate our birthdays in a special way this year, I came up with the idea of how about, instead of like 40 pages or 40 finishes or 40 fully finishes, or all of those that I have heard before, to do a spot sampler, like sampling from 40 patterns. There are a lot of patterns, and like, if you are in one of the lovers of everything cross stitch, you probably have a stash, and a lot of times there is one thing about that pattern that grabs you and you buy it because of it, and then you end up with this like a large, most of the time, with this large project or large pattern that you're intimidated or don't want to really start or stitch the whole thing. So you don't have to. You don't have to. If you like the specific motif in that project, in that pattern, that's all you need to stitch. Life is too short for stitching projects we're not interested in. So that's what I'm gonna do. I went through my collection, both digital patterns and physical patterns. I'm leaning toward just choosing paper patterns. Some of the patterns that I have already chosen are not, they're digital. So this is not the final list of patterns. I'm gonna still work on it, but I'm gonna show you like the initial result. You see this? These are 40 patterns. Either the actual pattern or the working copy of a pattern. So if it's either a printed of a digital pattern or it's a working copy, because I make working copy of patterns. I don't use the actual pattern. So I have all of those. So right now I have 40 patterns, but my preference is to continue stitching from paper patterns for one reason. Because if I stitch off digital pattern, what will happen is after it's done, I'm good. I can count that pattern as done, finish, move on, great. However, I'm not going to be able to give it away, so I can't pass it on to someone else who can enjoy it, or maybe stitch another part of it. But if it's a paper pattern, there is no limitation in terms of passing a paper pattern to someone else. So I can stitch from it, and then after I'm done, I can give it away, I can sell it. Technically, that copy is mine to do whatever I want with it. And I'm planning on every few months to gather all the patterns that to that point I have finished, and do like a bundle kind of situation and give it away. Not the digital ones. I can't pass on the digital ones. I can only pass paper copies. So that's what I'm gonna do. That's why I have like digital patterns here, but I'm hoping that as I go, I will pick more of those paper patterns that I have in a stash, and I have a lot of them in a stash, and just stitch a motif from there and go on. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick a big piece of fabric. Fat quarter would be my choice. And then I'm gonna go through my thread collection, pick anything like almost done, halfway, like all those ends and outs, bits of threads, and just dump them in a bag or a floss ring. And basically that will be my palette. So I'm not going to have a palette. So I'm not only going through my patterns and getting rid of essentially 40 of them, marking them as done by the end of 2025, hopefully, fingers crossed, that's the goal. Also, I will be using up a lot of threads that I have here and there randomly, have been like collecting, some of them even nameless, from kits and stuff. So that way I can go through those and get rid of them, basically. So yeah, so that is the plan. The hashtag for it is, I don't want to set it, we didn't want to set it on a specific number, because we feel like anyone can join with a number that they have in mind. You want to join with 10 projects? Great. You want to join with 5 projects? Fantastic. You want to join with 50, 60, 100? Go for it. The sky is the limit. So first of all, it's a start along. It's not a stitch along. We're going to start all together in January 2025. And the hashtag we're going to use is spot your number Sal. So spot your number Sal. So the number can be anything you want. It's up to you. Definitely need to be more than one though, because that's the whole point, right? The whole point is to get rid of that stash, and not get rid of the stash, but actually enjoy it. And if there is a specific thing that you enjoyed from that pattern, why not stitch it? Why not use it, right? And then move on. You don't have to stitch the whole thing, right? And the rest of the year, my plan for the rest of 2024 is finish. So I have a lot of projects. I'm really interested in moving and finishing some of the older ones. 2 projects specifically I really want to focus and see if I can finish. One is Like a Putty from Bella Filipina. I really want to finish that project this year. And then the other one is Tom's Flurry by Hands Across the Sea. That's the oldest project that I have, so I really want to see if I can finish it by the end of year. And that also is the free the floss, hashtag free the floss, thank you Julie, project, because it has a whole bunch of my Sulky's like hostage essentially in it. I have like a whole bag full of threads that are waiting to get out and be used in other projects. So I really want to focus on that, finish it, so I can, use those threads somewhere else. We have 2 things. One is highlighting a stitchy friend, or friends in this case. Basically another Flosstube. And also all the haul. Investments, not haul, investments. Alright, so a stitchy friend. I hope you have come across this channel. If not, you're welcome. Neil and Alex, they're cousins, and they do Flosstube together. They don't live close by, so they're not, it's a Zoom kind of situation. And good vibes. The name of the channel is Stitcher's Hollow. It used to be called something else, but it's Stitcher's Hollow now. And one day, algorithm thought that this will be a good channel for me. It was right. It's like right up my alley. Fantastic energy, great projects, all in all, fantastic vibe. There are like animals popping up and making themselves known as well. Check out Neil's last video because he shared his new kitty, Dilly, which is the sweetest little kitten ever. So fantastic. I giggle most of the time that I'm watching their channel. Their energy is very infectious, and they're really upbeat and high energy and very positive. I really, really highly recommend their channel. So I link them below. So all that is left is investments. I'm looking over and I see that it's a lot. A small portion of it is market, but then I don't know what happened. I know I was a little stressed and things, and you know how it is, retail therapy. And I also some of these are related to specific projects that are coming up or I'm planning on doing and all of that. So let's just stop the excuses and get to talking about stuff. Right, so let's just start with market first. So this time I usually you know, in the past few years I've been placing order with Abby from Top Notch, and I still love her. She has fantastic customer service. She's really quick to ship. The only downside is that she's in California, so it takes forever for the package from the time she ships it to the time for me to receive it. It takes a long time. Also, I wanted to support someone else that is closer to me, sort of like in my LNS. So you say like it's a closer to me shop, and localish to me shop. It's an hour away, or an hour and a half away from me, and it's Youtiful Sip and Stitchery. I had in the last Needle Minder retreat, we got the chance to go in and not only visit the shop, do some shopping, great shopping, did some serious damage, and also sit and stitch in their stitching room as well. So all in all, fantastic customer service. Brett is very, very kind and sweet, and yeah, so I really enjoyed it. So I decided to place my order with her instead. So yeah, so the shipping came with the tea, and then I tried to like spread around the love and have a few pattern from a few of my stitchy friends, designer friends. So from Christy, I have what's it called? What's it called? Bram Stoker's Dracula. Listen to them. The Children of the Night pattern from Pixel Pixie cross stitch. I am not going to stitch these two, so I'm gonna just stick to the moth. That's what I'm gonna stitch. And that, like, I love that moth on that red fabric, so I do have red fabric and I'm gonna stitch it on red. And then from Michelle Garrett, Betty Stitchy, I have the Memento Mori pattern. Yeah, I'm thinking about making it. I know that's like it's finished in one pillow, but I'm thinking about doing it in the double-sided flat, like sort of like a flat finish, like an ornament size, something like that. We'll see how I stitch it, but Memento Mori. And then I have Ramsdale Morning Sampler, which is a reproduction. We have the full version, and then the version that is more this one, you can see all the missing pieces that was frayed away. It's represented that way in the pattern. And then from my friend Sarah, ModCross, Cosmo Bloom. If you're not familiar with her collection, she has a collection of blooms and they are fantastic. And I have the pansy right there, and that's this one. And if you have never stitched full coverage pattern, this is a great starting point for you. It doesn't have a lot of colors. This one has 11 DMC colors, and I mean, first of all, we were all in our retreat, the Needle Minder retreats, when she finished the model, and the model looked amazing. So to create all this shading with only 11 colors is fantastic. So it's actually not difficult to stitch, and I actually converted that one in Sulky. I stitched that one in Sulky, and I'm hoping to do the same with this and stitch this in Sulky as well. And great quality of paper copy, by the way. It's fantastic. And then from Nori Shaded Stitchery, I placed Closely Kept 4. Every single one of these patterns are fantastic in the collection of Closely Kept. These are mementos of like African American. I think all of them are soldiers. So if you look, this is the box, and I mean, look at the design. It looks great. And she usually charts this in 2 different ways, either the actual pattern, and also she offers it in negative. So if you want to stitch around it and have basically the fabric show the design, you can do that too. So yeah. And then I got the cross stitch buddy, which is this tool. So what it does is you can actually cut your threads to length. It has 18-inch and 24-inch. Also, you have a scale there to figure out what your fabric is. You have a corner gauge right there. You have a conversion kind of like here, right there, in terms of stitch height, to figure out how big of a pattern, how big of a fabric you want. It gives you that, and it's a ruler too. So I'm excited to use this. Next, I placed an order with 123 Stitch. So EGA, our chapter, has different classes that are offered, different programs that are offered in our meetings. And the one that's coming up in November is a needlework. And I have not done needlework. I'm just doing cross stitch now. So so they offered to basically teach you how to do it. So they gave us the we purchased the pattern, and then with that came a list of all the things that we needed. And of course you need all the things, right? So I got structure bars. I'm also I have extras because I'm thinking that I can use these with perforated paper as well, because the canvas for needlework is a stiff canvas, and it reminded me of the perforated paper. So I'm thinking this will be a good solution, so the edge of the paper would not get damaged. So I'm going to be able to put it on the bars instead. So yeah, for the project I needed 8-inch bars, 2 8-inch bars, and I already have 2, so I got other 2. And then I have these for the perforated papers. Also needed pin to be able to, what is it called, the tacks, to secure the canvas to the bars. And then all the threads that I needed. I mean, technically I could do conversion to DMC, but I was like, you know what, I have a chance to try something new, so why not try something new? So I got the Silk Lame. This is Silk Lame in SL 119. This is a strandable 12 ply silk in black. Then I got again silk. This one is in S874. It's another purple, S875. I mean, these are close, but they're not the same, right? Yeah. Then I got S929, another silk. Then S1021 silk. And then S1114, another silk. So all the silk. And then I got the needles that I needed for that as well. And then I got the cryneck thread, which is this super sparkly. I don't know if you can even see it. Yeah, it has like an iridescent quality to it. Right. And then I got some perforated papers. So yeah, a few of these sheets. Next, I bought a couple of books that, you know, a lot of my design is inspired by Persian mythology. So I got a couple of books on Persian mythology. This one literally says Persian mythology. This one says Iranian mythology. And this one has like description of some of the characters and you know, illustration of it as well. So yeah, this is one of the characters that I definitely will at some point design based off. Yep, I love this character, the story of Arash. So yeah, that's that. Then for the first time I placed an order with Jasmine Custom Bags, and I love the mini bags better because this is the size that I actually prefer. So I got Grogu and the Mandalorian mini bag. This is the inside. Has a bat on top. And then I know Cruella is not the very positive character, but who cares? I mean, I was fascinated as a child. I was fascinated by her. I was afraid of her, but also I was fascinated by her. So, yep, that's another one. And inside is the hook it up. Then there is a model that's at some point I do need to stitch this as well. This is a pattern that I'm planning on releasing in January for my birthday, and I took it, I started stitching the model. I even shared that little bit of it, of the border that I started stitching, and then I hated it. It was charted in was it DMC? No, it was Cosmo. It was charted in Cosmo. I didn't like the palette at all. I stopped stitching it. I didn't like the fabric either, so I just left it alone. And then I'm obsessed with MoSaleSilks, and they every now and then, and every week, almost every week, they do have Mo has like a whole batch of silks that she has dyed on the Facebook page, and you can claim them. She called them like her silk babies. So I claimed a whole bunch, and This is a color palette that I originally was thinking about when I was designing, and I'm like, oh, this is fantastic. This is a great color palette, and I am going to rechart, work on the color palette and change the color palette to this, and then stitch it in this. Yeah, let me see if I can. There's no way I can hold the whole thing, is it? Yeah, this is the color palette. It's very fall, so let me show you. And the names are very Halloween-y, I know. This is called cow manure. But is it pretty brown? This one is bone marrow. This one is blood patties. This is contaminated water. This is Graveyard by Dawn. This is Evil Pond. This is Lizard Smoothie. This one is Toad Powder. It's not as bright as it's coming through, actually. This is odd. It's not that green. I mean, yeah. And this one is Frog Ice Cream. Yeah, I know, the names are weird. So, I have enough silk to stitch the whole model now. And, that's what I'm planning to do. I'm gonna work on the pattern, and I'm gonna change the palette, color palette, to this, and then I'm gonna start it again. Yep. Next, so again, EGA, there was an interview with a new local store called Model, and Mado, and she offered next, I placed my order with a new local store to us that she's just starting a physical store. She used to be only online, and now she's like bringing more stuff in a store, and it's called Maydell. And I was in the market for trying some new hoops, and I decided to give it a shot. So I placed an order and I got a few hoops. So this one is the 7-inch Morgan. I know everyone is talking about these, so I thought, well, let's give it a shot and see what's all the fuss is about. So I got those, and then I got 2 of these like bamboo hoops that are a little more like better quality than the cheap ones that are out there. This is a thicker one. So I have the 9-inch and 8-inch. And I bought a needle as well for my needlework project. So yeah, this is a 20, size 20. Okay. Next, I was on MadForMinders, as one does, and checking her new needle minders, which I don't need any, but who can resist medieval cats? And then I have the two medieval cats. Just look at this one's face. Oh my god. And this one? Yep. I love MadForMinders wooden needle minders. They're the best. Next, I placed another order with Youtiful Sip and Stitchery because I am designing. I'm adding more to the design that I already made for my mom. So I'm coming up with more designs fit for mindful stitching and being able to relax. So there are simple, very easy to follow patterns that can be used for beginners or people with visual impairment who might not have full use of their vision, and also for people who want some relief and just easy stitching. So and I pair that usually with like very low count fabric to make it easy, because my mom loves those easy projects. So yeah, so of course she sent some project cards with her sticker, and then I bought a 10 count Heatherfield Stardust with flex, which is this gray, so it's like a 10 count Aida. It does have flex in it. And then I got a 10 count Heatherfield Christmas Red with flex. And then I got 8 count Aida in white. So this is like a larger piece. And I got a whole, like, fat half of it. So this is 8 count. So these are easy for my mom to stitch on. So I'm going to design easy pattern to go with the easy fabric. And then hopefully she will enjoy stitching on those. Next, as I mentioned earlier, I am collecting work basket patterns. So from time to time on eBay I have notification on, and if something comes up and that I don't have, I'll just jump on the opportunity and I buy it. So this one came up, which is farm. Look at that blue house and all the animals. And this is one of their older patterns. This is from 2002. So yeah, so I bought that, and with it, I mean, they send this like freebie, so at some point it's probably gonna go in a bundle for giveaway. And then so EGA offers some sort of like a correspondent sort of like training and workshops. So I bought Hearts for You, which is a finishing project. So I have to basically first stitch pieces, and then there is all the instruction on how to finish this. So, and I have access to the trainer via email, so I can ask my questions, and she'll help me basically put together the project. And I know some other chapter member have done it, and I've seen this in person finished, and it will look beautiful. So I'm hoping that my finish will be as beautiful as that. So I decided not to order the material pack, so I'm gonna just use from stash, what I have from stash, and then also I'm probably just gonna order beads, and that will be it. Oh yeah, there's beading in this. I know I hate beading, but here we are. I'm gonna learn something new. I'm gonna learn how to bead. Lastly, I placed an order with Amazon on these like very cheap stuff. So some random thing. So I bought a whole bunch of needle threaders. These are very cheap and they, you know, break really easily. I don't care. I don't mind. I have a whole bunch of them, and when they're destroyed, I threw them away and I just used another one. I bought one of these. I actually bought two. One I already gave to my mom. These like magnetic needle like case. I feel like these are really good options for retreats and stuff when you want to maybe have a few like more than usual like options of needles and Frogger and stuff, so you can just stick them all in here and have them with you, and because it's like closed like this, you're not gonna lose them, or you're gonna lose the whole thing altogether. And then I bought a few of these measuring tapes, that tiny ones. This is like 1 meter 3 foot measuring tape, and I think these are really good. I want to like have one of these in my like purse just in case when I go different places, and I want to measure, like if I'm looking for a frame, if I am you know, looking into fabrics and stuff, or I want to figure out if something fits or not, I can use these definitely. So I have these, and then lastly I bought pearl cotton. Yeah, this is not DMC. This is like a Chinese brand of pearl cotton. I have used these before. They work perfectly fine. I'm planning on working on a project, and I'm probably gonna also like a few of these are for that project, but then the rest of them will go to my mom because she likes, again, stitching on lower count fabric, and pearl cotton is a good fit to, you know, to be able to stitch on those kind of fabrics. So that was a lot. I've been talking forever. So lastly, again, I feel like we're closing down to like a year now of what is happening in Palestine. So I just want to quickly mention it again, not only for that, not only the matter of Palestine, but also other causes that you feel passionate for. If we sit silently and just wait for the others to join us, or if we sit silently because not a lot of people are, you know, showing any attention or paying any attention or care about the cause you care about, then nothing will change. So it's all about like finding that courage in ourselves to do what we can whenever we can in ways that are available to us, right? So using our platforms, participating in person, partaking in craftivism, writing to representatives, bringing up the issue with the organization that we're part of, just making sure that we are moving the needle toward like the better, more just world all across the board. So we're living in a time that it feels like every day there is something new, another right is taken away from another group of people. And people are losing their protection left and right, and unfortunately, it's very bleak for a lot of us. So it's very important to pay attention to those who are in need of support. Yes, they might look strong, they might look capable, they might look resilient, they might look like all of this that's happening around them is not phasing them. It doesn't mean that it's not affecting them really deep down. It means that maybe they're good actors, maybe they're playing the role really well, maybe they're not showing weakness, but deep down this is hurting them really badly. So use your voice, ask your friends, ask your people that are in your life, people that you know that maybe are Palestinian, maybe they're Lebanese these days. I mean, God, today a lot of people have been killed in southern Lebanon. Sudanese, if they're Congolese, Uganda, like just look around you. There's so many people that are in pain and are suffering around us. Women, trans community, especially trans women of color. Just look around you, queer folks, right? I'm part of queer community, and I see, like, yes, we really like to pretend in a very liberal spaces that everything is fine, but it's not. Even in those spaces, it's a struggle. I mean, I'm part of an organization that we are proud of being accepting, whatever that means, but we have a very long way to go, and it has been a struggle. Every single change comes with fight, and like you have to really go at it and really want it, and put a lot of energy into it to be able to create a little change. It's very important to be there for our communities, and be there for our people, be there for our friends, our neighbors, our co-workers, people that we know in our lives that are part of these communities that are hurting now. All right. So lastly, as much or as little as you stitch, I hope that is enjoyable to you. And until I see you next time, have a good one. Bye.